When a fast-moving fire gets too close to home, you don't want to wait for help.
If you don't have a helicopter, you're dead in the water.
Douglas County relied on itself to stop a fire that could have been a lot worse. Charges will be dropped in this kidnapping attempt caught on a school's security camera, but the suspect is not being set free. Odell Barry Park does not look like much.
This one day was told that was going to be in honor of my father.
Why there's no progress on the land that is supposed to be named for North Glenn's first black mayor, and what's supposed to happen next. The airport fire needed help from the air to keep homes and businesses from being burned. Pretty close in some of this video. The fire near Chetfield State Park is no longer a threat. 39 homes in the town of Leviers were forced to evacuate yesterday, luckily just for a few hours. Leviers is along Highway 85 between Highlands Ranch and Castle Rock. The fire burned about 130 acres. That's a little less than a quarter of a square mile. And last we were told it's 90% contained. The cause still under investigation, but South Metro Fire Rescue says multiple fires sparked along a BNSF rail line that runs through a grassy open area.
Fire did travel along multiple spot fires along the train tracks, and there was a train in the area, but it is undetermined if the cause was from the train or not.
Is literally covering their tracks today. The rail company sent a fire train today. Not a train that's on fire, but a train to put out fires. These tank cars filled with 20,000 gallons of water each are used to spray the areas around the tracks. A spokesperson for BNSF told me that these trains are sent out regardless of who's responsible for the fire. One of the most effective ways to fight a wildfire is by air. Douglas County is the only county in the state with its own helicopter. Our Angeline McCall shows us why other counties might need to start budgeting for their own.
It could have taken hours. Instead, it took minutes.
Had that resource not been available, we might be having a much different press conference today.
Sheriff Darren Weekly says the difference here during the airport fire was that Douglas County didn't have to rely on anyone else.
I can't stress enough that had we not had that fire hill attack team in the air within 10 minutes, this fire would have been far worse than it was.
State resources are already stretched thin.
It's a competition for resources.
Wildland Operations Chief Ted Christopoulos says the state-operated Firehawks are in use to fight fires out on the western slope.
That's what we were running into, that we were requesting resources and it's an hour, 2 hours away from us, and obviously that creates major incidents for us.
There was one helicopter pulled away from the western slope. It dropped 6 times. Compare that to the Douglas County helicopter that made 88 drops on Sunday.
Yesterday alone, on day one of the fire, they dropped 26,400 gallons of water.
Its base was 3 minutes away, and then it took another 3 minutes to fill up the tank. Minutes that made a difference they could only imagine today instead of experience.
You can imagine how bad this would have been had that resource not been immediately available.
It costs $1.8 million annually for Douglas County to operate this helicopter, and South Metro and Douglas County have teams that train with it regularly so they can step up and work in moments like this.
I get Douglas County is touting itself, but also like unfortunate timing that there are fires on the western slope and the resources that may have been nearby were over there. They think they have the solution for that problem?
Right. Well, we know that fire season really is all year round in Colorado, but we know that it really ramps up in the summertime with the heat and the wind. And so, for instance, these Firehawks are actually based in the Denver metro, but when they're needed elsewhere, you know, they go and they are needed right on the western slope right now, for instance. Now, some officials at this press conference sort of, you know, propose this idea that because the Denver metro is so large, there's so many people here, so many homes, residences, businesses, that they should stay stationed here, at least one, in case there is an event like this one.
That happens, and then we'll be doing stories about why was it sitting on the ground when it could be used on. It's a good idea in theory, but when it's necessary, but we'll see if there's money to get more of these helicopters. Thank you, Angeline. The state's Firehawk helicopters have been sent to the western slope, as you've heard, for good reason. Fires sparked by lightning have burned more than 7,000 acres across several counties since Thursday. The largest is the South Rim fire in Black Canyon of the Gunnison National Park. That fire grew to 3,600 acres over the weekend, and it's still burning uncontained. The park is closed and everyone in that area has been evacuated. The Sow Valley fire is also burning without containment. It's nearly 2,300 acres and has spread across Mesa, Delta, and Montrose counties. It's burning in the Dominguez Escalante National Conservation Area, and crews are having a hard time with that terrain to get the fire under control, which is why the helicopters are on the western slope. And a pair of fires have burned about 1,500 acres in Mesa County, forcing evacuations near the town of Gateway. All of these western slope fires prompted Democratic Governor Jared Polis to issue a disaster declaration this weekend, which freed up state resources and staff to help in the response. Now I want to bring in Jade Knowles. You went to school probably because you're interested in weather and the meteorology of weather, but here we are. Now you become a fire expert and you can tell us about the weather of fire, Jaden.
Well, Marshall, that's the beauty of being a meteorologist. I mean, it's well-rounded. Our world just has so much weather, especially right here in Colorado. And just talking about those fires that's going and continuing on the western slope, I mean, this is current wind gust right now, 30 miles per hour. That is not helping them whatsoever. The only thing that did kind of help them was the showers that we saw early on. But you can see over there towards the western slope, I mean, it's really not a lot of rain. All the rain is over towards the east near I-70. There's a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. And we're talking about heavy downpours of rain, some gusty winds with that. Here in the metro area, didn't see a lot, not even a sprinkle here in Denver, mainly staying towards the foothills. But notice there's another severe thunderstorm warning. That's towards the northeast, kind of by Grover and the state line for heavy downpours of rain, lots of lightning with that. Once again, we're talking about gusty winds and maybe some quarter-sized hail along with that. But we need all that rain over towards the western slope, of course, to help them out with the fires, help the firefighters out with the fires. But over the next couple of hours, temperatures will remain pretty warm with the upper 70s. Today, we did see the low 90s. Tomorrow, of course, another warm day with 95 degrees and isolated storms mainly staying down towards the south and east of us. It's really going to be very isolated, not a widespread day like we did see today. And even Denver didn't see a lot of rain. But the rest of the 7-day forecast, cooler temperatures is on the horizon as we see a dip in that jet stream and more rain chances on a Wednesday. Warmer temperatures as we head into the weekend, Marshall.
Jaden, I feel like you did that Atari graphic just for me. I want to say, this is your second time on Next.
Right.
The second time Kyle has called out. I've seen what you're wearing both those times, and I'm starting to think it's about he knows he's going to get outdressed. So,
you know, I was thinking the same thing, Marshall. So next time that I do work here, I'll just wear some khakis and a nice polo so he can, you know, be here with me.
Here I am going plain navy blue and feel outshined myself. Thank you, Jaden.
Thank you.
A fast-moving land spout damaged several businesses in Franktown this afternoon. The land spout, which is a type of tornado, hit near Highway 86 and Burning Tree Drive around 2:30, flying debris and damaging roofs. You can see there. The Douglas County Sheriff's Office, which has had a busy last few days, tell us that no one was hurt. The person accused of trying to grab a fifth grader from a Cherry Creek school playground last year is incompetent to stand trial. And for the fourth time in 7 years, that person will see the charges dropped because of incompetency, though they're being transferred to a mental health facility. Kids at Black Forest Hills Elementary School yelled, "Stranger danger." Solomon Galligan is accused of trying to grab a fifth grader at recess in April 2024. Almost 1 year ago, Galligan was found incompetent to stand trial. 9 News Investigates looked into Galligan's criminal history and found felony charges dropped twice in 2021 and again in 2018 because Galligan was found incompetent to stand trial. A spokesman for the Arapahoe County District Attorney's Office, which will be dropping the charges, tells us Galligan is not being released to the public, but is being released to a mental health facility. MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell is asking the federal judge who oversaw his defamation trial to overturn the jury's verdict and change it to no damages. Lindell was found liable for defaming Coloradan Eric Coomer, a former Dominion Voting Systems executive. The jury awarded Coomer $2.3 million between Lindell and his media company, Frank Speech. Perhaps one of the reasons he's asking for the judge to reconsider the verdict is what he told Kyle after the verdict was read.
Do you have $2.3 million?
So, you know, I don't have to have any money, which I don't. I'm millions of dollars in the hole. I think I told you that in the courtroom. It's about $10 million net worth in the hole.
This is different than an appeal. That would be to a different judge. Lindell is asking U.S. District Court Judge Nina Wong, who oversaw the trial, to overrule the jury. The same judge who reprimanded Lindell's attorneys for submitting an AI-written motion. The same judge who reprimanded Lindell for giving interviews during the trial. Interviews like the one he gave me when he saw our camera and just walked over to it.
No, you didn't hear what she just said.
Okay.
So you didn't listen.
What didn't I
You didn't listen. You probably won't put that part on your little camera here. I'm following exactly what the judge said. You're the one with the smug look on your face.
Again, it's just my face. We want to say a quick thanks for all you did this week to families in Jefferson County to put food on the table, whether or not they have access to a brick and mortar food bank. Here's Kyle with an update on this week's Word of Thanks.
Your generosity has come through for Colorado again. Thanks for being with Next while I'm away, and thank you for the more than $35,000 you raised last week for Mountain Resource Center, that nonprofit feeding our neighbors in the 285 corridor up through the foothills of Jefferson County. That money you raised is going to go a long way to help them provide mobile food pantries and their brick and mortar location to help families in need up there. Your microgiving has done $15 million worth of good in every corner of our state. If you have an idea of where we could work together next, email me, next@9news.com, or text next at 303-871-1491.
It went from excitement to disappointment to a little frustration.
A site dedicated to honoring the first black mayor of North Glen looks not very honorable. Years later, his family is still waiting for progress. That's next. A future park was to be named for North Glen's first black mayor, former Denver Bronco Odell Barry. 4 years after that announcement, the park and the name are nowhere to be found. Our Janelle Finch explains the holdup.
Of all the titles that can come after Odell Barry Bronco, Odell Barry Mayor, his son Damon,
Odell is my father,
wants to see Park behind his father's name.
This one day was told that was going to be in honor of my father, who has done a lot for this community.
In 2021, North Glen's Diversity, Inclusivity, and Social Equity Board asked the city to name the future park on West 112th Avenue after Odell Barry. The next year, City Council approved the name. And then
it kind of went quiet.
But Diversity Board Chairman Chris Cimino says the wait is almost over. He says the main holdup has been finding funding.
A bunch of fundraising that had to be made, so basically we had to get some grants and secure some money to make this project happen.
$5 million to be exact. The city says about $3.5 million has been secured through grants and donations. The Parks and Rec Department says at completion, the park will have a special teen climbing area, fitness equipment, and a playground. Cimino says despite the park's price, he's determined to bring the board's vision to life.
I think it's a great way to honor someone who was our first black mayor, which is a huge thing for the city, and also just to honor, in his memory, his space, and just give someone a place to go to reflect.
Barry says his father would constantly give himself to the city of North Glen. Now he wants the city to follow through on what they said they would give to his memory.
To have the legacy of what my father has done and meant for this community to be remembered in this fashion would be phenomenal.
The city's Parks Department says it still needs about $1.6 million before breaking ground. The department says it's planning to apply for 2 grants this fall, and we'll find out by spring 2026 if they won those grants. At that point, they say they can begin looking at construction. Marshall?
I mean, if I'm doing the math right, they really haven't moved much on the money side in all that time since we had this announcement 4 years ago. Maybe they need to start looking for other sources of money besides the grants. But I'm sure Damon Barry's probably getting tired of talking about this. His dad was around when they made the announcement, and then he passed away, and he never got to see it.
Right, yeah. He says that every time somebody calls him about this, has questions about this, he doesn't really have a lot of answers. It's not up to him, when they build this park. If it were up to him, like you said, they probably would have built it while Odell Barry was still with us. But now he says that he's still motivated to see this park through for Odell's legacies.
Well, thanks for keeping us updated. I guess that North Glen will be low on the list of buying their own helicopter for fire needs because they need that money for the park. Thank you, Janelle. Who needs courtside seats when you play on the court? A Boulder tennis player is headed to the U.S. Open.
I think wheelchair tennis, it is a lot harder than able body, and you need a lot more patience.
It is her 3rd Open, and she's just getting started. Next. Maybe I should hold this. Playing at a major sports tournament takes major talent. A tennis player from Thornton is ready to play in her 3rd major tournament at the U.S. Open in New York in September. Our Byron Reed shows us her unique technique.
Turn and run, turn and run. There it is.
Tennis is a game of patience.
You'll get better. You just got to take time. Okay.
For 18-year-old Sabina Chows, it's a sport she was eager to learn 6 years ago.
When I first got out here, was not good at all. You know, you just got to trust the process. Kind of like art, you know, it's ugly at first, but then at the end, it turns out really beautiful and great.
Now she's a competitive junior wheelchair tennis player for the United States Tennis Association Colorado. She says she's learned perseverance pays off.
You really need endurance, so I think wheelchair tennis, it is a lot harder than able-bodied, and you need a lot more patience from my point of view.
Recently, she found out that she's been selected to play in this year's U.S. Open Wheelchair Championships, one of 8 tennis players from around the world to earn a spot.
It's opened my world even more than I thought it would. And to be 3 in the world, never thought it would be possible, truly.
Chows is currently ranked 3rd playing singles. This will be her 4th time playing in the Open, and she's been putting in the time in Boulder, getting ready to take center court.
We're excited that we'll have 8 kids from around the world coming to play, and Sabina will be one of the best.
Kendall Chitamber is our club coach. He believes tournaments like this opens the door for more wheelchair athletes.
I know for a fact that the opportunities for the kids who are coming today, for example, to play collegiate wheelchair tennis, now I think there are about 20 schools across the country. That just means more opportunities for more kids to come and play.
For Sabina and her coach, the chance to play in New York has been worth the wait.
Oh, I'm so excited. I cannot wait. Every year, it's a dream.
For Next,
I love it.
I'm Byron Reed.
Chows recently competed in the French and Australian Opens, where she reached the finals. As a member of the U.S. Junior Wheelchair Tennis team, she also helped capture the Junior World Team Cup. One Coloradan has been on a mission to make someone else's day brighter for 8 years. DJ Valdez lost his sister Sarah to an accidental overdose in 2017. 3 years later, to help honor her memory, he started standing on Colfax near Colorado Mills Mall. He holds a sign saying, "You are loved," something he told us back then he wished he told Sarah more. DJ is standing at that same intersection today for the 8th year. We caught up with him this morning, and his message has not changed.
I think it's just letting people know that regardless of your situation and circumstances, that there's somebody who cares for you, and that, you know, just trust that somebody's out there loving you right now.
That is great. Here comes Marissa with our feedback coming up next, as well as a city getting in with Z is for zipper. Some of the most memorable moments of Next happen in feedback, so let's hope you'll remember this no matter what city you live in. Centennial has a mailer it sends to residents called the Centennial Connection, and the summer 2025 edition right over here has this nice little insert. Zipper merging works. For longtime viewers of Next, like my father-in-law Ken Friedland, who gave this to me, you already know that. Use the lane that's closing all the way to the end before merging. No, it's not rude. It's scientifically proven to speed up traffic, and it's now in the Colorado Driver Handbook. Our feedback tonight is heavy on Jaden and his attire. I think Weatherman Jaden's giving you a run for your money when it comes to outlandish sport coats. That's from Kathleen to Kyle, clearly. I'm sorry to report that you're coming in a distant second in the 9 News Best Dressed Costume contest, that is, to the new weather guy, Jaden. And Neva asks, are you and Jaden sharing a closet? Clearly, Kyle and Jaden are. Not me. I'm just in regular blue. See you next time.